Alright folks, hello and welcome to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host, Josh, and this is our new Let's Play of Head as Code. Happy 2022, Happy New Year, and welcome also happy anniversary to Downstage Gaming. 1 year we've been doing this now. And so I wanted to do something fun here. So we last played 12 Hours to Die, which was sort of a fan game of styled after a Danganronpa. Head as Code, is my understanding, is sort of heavily inspired by 999 and Virtue's Last Reward. As I've said many times before, one of my favorite series, one of my favorite games of all time. And I've heard some pretty good things about this one, so I'm pretty excited. Let's just dig right in. I don't know too much other than that this is a part of a trilogy. Third game has not yet come out yet, but it's coming out soon. But yeah, so this is the first one of the trilogy. Let's just dig into it. Darkness. More darkness. They say life begins with darkness and ends with darkness. It's probably way more philosophical than my situation was then, because my life had already begun many summers ago, and as far as I was aware, hadn't ended yet. Something else had to have been the cause of this darkness. Clearly, all of this was explained by the fact my eyes were simply closed. Should probably just go ahead and open them. I dozed off earlier, and now I was waking up, that's all. Something did bother me about that predicament. The surface I was on wasn't a bed. While comfortable, it didn't feel like a bed. Another long night at the bar, eh? My eyes shot wide open to the realization I was on a couch. I sleep horribly on couches, which is why I made a point of never doing it if I could avoid it. I don't know. Some couches are pretty nice to sleep on. Something very unusual must have happened for me for me to deign sitting and sleeping on a couch. From behind, I spied 3 people. They were discussing something with the utmost urgency. Their tones were hushed, as if they were trying to ensure they couldn't be overheard. Did I have any cause for concern? No, that's too paranoid, even for me. They most likely just didn't want to wake me up. I mean, do you know where this bar is? This seems like you should be more concerned about that. I had a feeling that was the case, because one of them was Jasmine, and she had no reason to keep anything from me. Is that green text just letting us know they're an important person? Hi, Jasmine. We really have to go soon, so I'll keep watch over him if you both decide to go. You don't have to worry. Nothing bad will get through me. Then again, her words implied she was my jailer. I hadn't seen her face to face since maybe 4 years ago now. Truth be told, I missed the times I spent with her before. That's right, she's my childhood friend. Welcome to my slice of life anime. Yeah, nothing more. Why are you even asking? What is this shirt? Chromatic? I want to know what this word is. Except now, she lived on the other side of the country, unlike the boy next to her, who was named Marco. He lived much closer to me. We shared an apartment, after all. Once again, we are friends, nothing more. I don't know. Judging by what we've seen of the stuff in this place, do you really think that's safe for either you or him? He was in disagreement with her plan. His words, unlike Jasmine's, eased my mind about my predicament. She was not, in fact, my jailer. Jasmine, you're off the hook. Honestly, though, Jasmine could tie me up, handcuff me to a bed, bar, couch, whatever, any day of the week. Wait, what did he mean by not safe? Where exactly were we? If I was here with Jasmine and him, it couldn't have been so bad, but thought maybe I should ask him. Maybe he would have some answers for me, since he's a pretty smart cookie. Or would he make fun of me by turning it into a joke like he always did? At least I knew I could depend on him. After all, he's got a master screen, some weird stuff that sounds like mathematics. It sounds like the word or sounds like the concept? I forgot what it was, and obviously it's not that. And I wasn't awake enough to remember it. Instead, I tried to remember what could have brought us here. We were in the landlord's office? Well, good things never happen in a landlord's office. Ugh, my head hurts so badly I had issues remembering anything. Looking around once more, I noticed we were in some kind of bar. Excellent observation skills, main character. Or at least there was a counter with some stools. Yeah, that wasn't the landlord's office. They didn't normally have a bunch of alcohol. You don't know what you have till it's gone. Wise words. Wise words. And we're making like a little like windmill or like a flower. Decoration could have used a little touch up. There was a very strange painting on the wall. It looked like a cross with ominous words around it. It also looked like it was written in blood. It read, "You don't know what you have till it's gone." A chill ran up my spine as I read the words in my head. The entire place was giving me the creeps now that I was awake to take it all in. Oh, little boy woke up. Little boy? I looked at my body, well, only to realize I wasn't little. What? You don't know this? Sometimes I have to check my body, make sure I really am 24. That man, though, I didn't know who he was, but he was much bigger than I was. Judging by the gray hair, he was in his 50s, perhaps? You're finally awake. That solves our little problem. I hope we didn't wake you up. Is this me? Am I Simon? No, it's okay. I didn't sleep very well. Sure won't beat the bed you just got last month. By the way, you still owe me for that, remember? Absent-mindedly nodded, but Jasmine changed the topic. I was thankful for that, since I didn't want to be reminded about my debts right now, my bed debts. Anyway, Em and Ray came back from exploring a new area earlier while you were asleep. Okay, so Em is Marco, this is Ray. We should all probably head out and find a new place too. Some words she said didn't make sense. Em and Ray? I had to assume Marco was M and this guy was Ray, but why call Marco M? We doing some code names? I was very lost, so I simply nodded, masking my confusion. Yeah, a new place after heading out. Oh wait, this is me. Makes sense. Yeah, sure, I'll go along with it. A part of me wanted to believe this was a weird dream. That was probably the cowardly part in me. The same part was also telling me not to let them know I wasn't up to date with the recent events. Never communicate with anyone honestly. Unfortunately, where others might have quieted that part, I listened to it. I always listened to it. Might have been a little on the nose to admit to myself how cowardly I was, but if there was one thing I couldn't hide from, it was that. Listen, we all have weaknesses, you know? I knew I was a coward, even if I didn't look the part. I looked like a straight-up jock. Yeah, we didn't find anything new. Makes me wonder if all this is just some kind of waste of time. Still don't have a single clue to the whereabouts of that 9th person. Whatever. The sooner we explore, the sooner we'll be out of here. I'll take the punk with me again, and you can go with your girlfriend. That good for you? Maybe you two could do it on the couch, you sick perverts. Girlfriend? Wait, I don't know what happened before I slept, but I mean, I was not really opposed to it either, because she's cute, and what was I thinking? That man almost got me flustered there from almost, but luckily, kept it pretty chill. It would be far too embarrassing to reveal that I did have feelings for her. Kind of. Maybe. On Fridays. Oh, I actually was embarrassed. Shit, there was no hiding it anymore now. Felt like an embarrassed, clueless teenager. Get a grip, Simon! I just had to say something before my cheeks got any redder. She's not my girlfriend. It's not like that at all. Are you letting his teasing get to you this much? Let's just take the train and go to a new station already. Unless you want to stick around here for a little bit. I took a sidelong glance at her and noticed she looked as rosy as I was. Ah, I didn't think it was fair for her to blame me if she was also embarrassed. Listen, we're all Puritans here. Marco stayed quiet, apparently thinking about doing something horrible. What? I felt an incredible need to leave before he opened his big mouth again. Thankfully, I was saved by the imposing man. Cursed and saved by the same man in the span of 2 minutes? What's he got in his pocket there? I mean, clearly he's got like a little bit of a doctor thing going on, but what is that? That ought to be some kind of record. Whatever, listen. I'll go ahead, and when you're all done here, send the punk to me. Don't take too long. I hate wasting time, and I hate waiting even more. Ray left the lounging area. In the distance, I could hear the noise of his steps getting fainter and fainter. That is how people walking away works. Some creaking revealed he was going down a flight of stairs. This Ray person didn't seem too friendly, so I took my mind off him by turning my attention back to Jasmine and Marco. The The latter was a little deflated by what I assumed was Ray calling him punk over and over. Yeah, can't wait for that. Sounds amazing. Woo! Hey, J&S, are you sure you want to head out together? Either you care to mix it up a little? I'm sorry you don't want to hang out with your good buddy Ray. Jasmine categorically shook her head. Nope. Well, I'll go wait down there too anyway. I'll take the side he didn't go to. When you're done, come down there, okay? And just like that, after a brief wave, she was gone too, leaving me with Marco. He looked back at me, uncertain on how to proceed. Don't make her wait too long, but we probably have a minute. I don't want to make Ray wait too long for sure. That guy's gonna hurt me. You heard him, right? That guy could destroy me with a well-placed punch. That would at least give me enough time to talk to Marco a little if I wanted to die due to a horrible joke or two. Or I guess I could also head out to join Jasmine right away. Tutorial! Need a quick tutorial on active searches? Sure. This is my first rodeo. Okay, sometimes there will be moments for you to decide the order in which events happen. Choices! These numerous interactive segments will be called active searches, or AS for short. Hence the head as code, with the AS being capitalized, I assume. By making choices during these segments, you can have Simon look at some things. You can also choose to talk to characters and get their input when available. These special choice icons will appear for those moments. The look icon will never progress the story. It is only used for supplementary information. Okay. However, you may need to select it to find a talk or use icon to progress. Okay. But the talk and use icons are used to progress the story in different ways. The talk icon will be necessary when talking to a character and to trigger dialogue. The use icon will do what it says. It will use the object in question. Note how the talk icon does not necessarily progress the story, but use will always do so. Okay. Once you've selected anything in this playthrough, the game will save it for later. On any subsequent playthrough, they will show up as this to let you know you already selected them. Okay, let us make a different choice. Sure. Note that you may need to reselect some of them to progress, even if they show up as done. Sure, makes sense. It's only an indication that you've done it. Yep, okay. For this first AS, it's not complicated. Listen, Josh, calm down. We're gonna start off easy. Only 2 options. You can either talk to Marco or look at, then use the stairs, which will continue the story. Okay. Most of them will have something to let you bypass them if you wish to merely skip them. However, you may miss bits of extra information if you choose to ignore these segments. They are mostly optional, so you don't lose much if you wish to skip them, with one exception. When Simon is within an escape room, the active searches are obligatory. Okay, so that might be like 9 and 9 where you're in escape rooms. Okay. Do you want to go through this tutorial again? No. I don't love repeating tutorials. Okay. So we can talk or we can head out. I mean, I want to get some information, right? So let's have a chat with Marco. Hey, M. I keep telling you, Marco's fine when nobody's around, Simon. Apparently, we're just using these nicknames in lieu of our real names, just so we don't, honestly, I don't know. Jay came up with that. I'm just glad nobody here has a name that starts with the same letter as mine, or would be terribly awkward. Oh, can you imagine the social awkwardness? So why is Jasmine trying to keep her identity a secret if this was her idea? Suspicious. Oh, yeah. That wasn't too smart. On the other hand, it could also be sweet. You know, like Eminem. You get what I'm saying? Come on. Up top, Simon. I shook my head. No, I didn't know, and I didn't want to know. Everything he touches turns into a joke. I mean, there are worse kinds of Midas powers. Kind of like Midas, who had the power to turn anything he touched into gold. I didn't want to be turned into a joke myself, so I saluted to part from him. Yeah, I should head out too. Ray will get mad. I wonder why he named Ray and not something like R, but that would be like admitting I was a lost little lamb, and that's really not cool. The last thing I wanted to do was to give him even more ammo for his stupid jokes. God, I hate him. So then Marco went back to hang around in silence. I left him be. Alright, well, I mean, there's nothing else we can do, right? Alright, let's leave, I guess. Wouldn't be a good idea for me to postpone joining Jasmine down the stairs, so I moved as if to leave the place. As if. See you later then. Remember, you owe me a pizza every week for the next 6 months. I'm not gonna let it go this time. Marco's words reminded me of something. I don't owe him money for pizza. I focused on that while grumbling some farewells back at him. From my uniform side pocket, I pulled out a cap, which I nervously adjusted back onto my head. Kept it stashed away whenever I could, but right now might give me some courage. My boss wasn't there, thank God. If he saw me without that cap on, he'd probably give me a truckload of swears. Normally I hated wearing the damn thing. And here, it's kind of comforting, at least a little. A little something at home? Sure. It's comforting because it's one of the few things that felt normal. I'm not gonna spoil other games here, but it's definitely suspicious that we're not already getting a look at who our protagonist is here. I mean, I'm not saying they're gonna use a lot of the same tricks as other types of these games, but I'm suspicious of it. Went down a flight of stairs on the opposite side of the one Ray took earlier. There was some kind of little lobby between the stairs and what was beyond. Stepping outside, I found myself at the last area I thought I'd emerge into. I was in the metro. It was the underground train stations connecting sections of Montreal together through multiple colored lines. The more I looked around the station, the more this didn't make any sense to me. I gave up trying to understand exactly where the hell I was, because no matter what section this was, I knew for a fact none of them had a spacious bar upstairs. Well, listen, you're hanging out at the wrong parts of the metro. At least there was no open bar like that directly after taking the first flight of stairs. Didn't make any sense. Public transportation is supposed to suck. It's supposed to just be miserable and make you want to lose your soul. Jasmine came out of nowhere, having patiently waited for me down here. Earlier, the others said they went out to the infirmary, so we're probably going past that now. Guess we got some time to kill before the train arrives, huh? Straight to the point, not even a hello. I assumed this place didn't really have her in a jolly mood. Weird. I was completely lost, so I just nodded. However, I had a feeling Jasmine had picked up on my confusion. Please just be honest and let somebody fill us in on what's going on here. Taking a glance to the other side of the station, I saw Marco and Ray in the distance. Well, like she said, we had some time to kill before the train arrived. I was curious about the place, so I could either look at stuff or talk to her. Probably need to talk to her sooner or later, so it's just a question of when. Well, let's look at some things. Too dark in there. I could barely make out some kind of weird metallic gate. If Jasmine wasn't going in, then I assumed it was locked, and searching it wouldn't help me in the least. Next to the little maintenance hall was a yellow stripe on the ground, which stretched across the entire border of the station. If I stepped beyond it, I'd fall down onto the rails. Those were the rails used to guide the trains around. Pretty dangerous. Don't want to play on them. A sign next to them said 750 volts. Yikes. If I touched that, it would kill me for sure. Danger! Staff only! That's what it said. That little maintenance hall was shrouded in darkness. That's where the stuff usually went to fix all of the subway's problems, whenever it had any. Unless we had some sort of key, we wouldn't get back there. Only maintenance dudes were allowed to go in, so I had no idea what was inside. The secrets. That wasn't here last time I came in here. I assume that they mean, like, the last time they were at a metro station. All the screens used to be suspended, but this one was mounted on the wall with 4 mega-large screws behind it. Currently, it was powered off. The TV was bigger than any other I'd ever seen. Clearly, that must have cost a fortune. Marco would lose his mind if I brought something like that back home. Especially as it would be considered theft. Marco seems like he'd be cool with it, though. Keep it on the DL. On second thought, it was best to just not mess with it. Walls. Funny, I didn't remember the walls being like that in any station that I'd seen. I hadn't visited all of them, though, so maybe that's just how this station was. Station walls certainly varied wildly depending on where you were at. Some of them had brick walls, while others were tiled. Some were pristine, some were decorated with graffiti. Some of them were featureless, and some of them had ads all over the place. Most of them did, to be fair. There was one open doorway we used to access the metro, too. The door was thick and heavy looking. It was a sliding door, so from here it looked like a solid block of metal embedded inside the wall. I mean, okay, I have not been to Montreal, So if you live in Montreal, you can tell me, but I would, the immediate thought about being here is that this looks way too, like, sleek and futuristic to be in any way a part of a metro station. Well, before we could look at her, now we can only talk with her. Alright, well, let's go ahead and chat. Yeah, weird, huh? You've been acting a bit lost. Are you sure you're all okay there? I didn't really know how to tell her. On one hand, I didn't want her to find out I had no clue about what was going on when they all clearly did. It would make me look like I didn't have my stuff together. On the other hand, I was at a severe disadvantage not understanding. Well, see, it's like that I'm a little lost right now, to put it simply. Like, I just woke up, but I have no idea how I even got here. Luckily for me, Jasmine was a kind person who always had my back, and she listened. Finally understanding what nagged at me, she began explaining in vague terms. I think I know what you have right now, and that sounds like amnesia to me. It probably is super dangerous if I go too fast, due to how the memories are, like, locked right now or something. You seem like you really know what's going on here. I'll just take it slowly then, assuming it's temporary. I guess I can explain the minimum to you, just so you know and understand enough, at least. If you say so. I don't really know much about amnesia, but I still want to know what's going on. Where is this place? Who's Ray? Does it make pizza? Famous pizza? Jasmine nodded comprehensively. We proceeded to move to a more open area of the station, so you could tell me everything while we waited for the train. Exposition jump! Give it to me! Alright, so listen closely here. You must have noticed we're in the metro, and you know this is the place that links all of Montreal together. I honestly don't know who Ray is, so I'll talk about what I know. There are 5 color-themed lines, but you already know all this. Well, I don't, so keep going. What's really important is the fact we're actually stuck here. There's no way out. We already tried to force doors open. No dice. Instead, as some weirdo with a mask told us, we had to play some kind of game. I felt a shiver run up my spine at that. This felt like a little like one of those escape the room new age reality games. Except for the fact that we were clearly not paying to be entertained here. Well, that's just makes it all the more fun. Free entertainment. Most of all, though, this place is really dangerous because if we disobey the rules, well, we're going to die. This is probably a good time for me to mention that it didn't show up at the front of this. Oh, there is one that pops up at the very beginning, right before the title screen. But there is some general content warning. I assume from what I've heard that there's probably going to be some fairly graphic, violent stuff, and perhaps some psychological stuff. So just like, know that going in. If you really want to know the specifics, I'm guessing you could look up what the, specific content warnings are going to be here. But just keep it in mind. But I guess that weird man said it was like, we'll get punished, but he did explain what that entailed. I swallowed. She had to be joking. Surely it wasn't real and someone was just toying around with us. It was then that I noticed the collar Jasmine was wearing around her neck. You know what? I hadn't even noticed. This is such a fashionable collar. How could I have? Come to think of it, Marco and Ray had also been wearing a collar like that, hadn't they? Didn't even need to check my own neck. I could feel one there too. I decided against touching it. It seemed dangerous somehow. We have to find someone with the number 9 to leave. Okay, we're very much getting on some 999 right now then. So far, we aren't finding anything, no matter how much we explore. We're supposed to go to each station in a pair, you see, because I waited for her to continue, but it took a while. As the seconds passed, I could tell she was trying to... It felt like she was trying to stop herself from giggling? Because this is the dating game. See, it's like one of those shows where you choose, and you try to find your true love. We're playing the dating game. Pretty much all my fears left at this moment, and instead I was staring at her with the same irresistible desire to laugh. What the hell, the dating game? We're definitely being toyed with here, that's what I think. No. Just as suddenly as the mood shifted to something lighter, it reverted to something rather uncomfortable as Jasmine stared at me, no longer amused. With the most serious tone in the world, she completed her thought. As ridiculous as the name is, someone might have died already. A glacial feeling spread through me from my feet, crawling upward along my legs to latch onto my back. It was tightening my stomach, creating a knot in my throat. Wait, might? There's no way. That's a joke, isn't it? And besides, might? So you aren't sure? Jasmine looked at me as seriously as she could ever be. It's not a joke, and about the uncertainty, it's complicated. But if what I saw was real, someone really died, and so as funny as the name is, this is real. Don't start getting complacent on me. This is dangerous, so don't do anything to put yourself in danger, okay? She looked discouraged at this point. Before she spoke more, a train arrived at our platform. Waited for a few seconds, looking at Jasmine, who looked back at me. Then I looked at the train again. The dating game, huh? That was a stupid name. I hate it. And yet as she walked forward and tugged me in the train, there was no avoiding it. We are on a date. I was going on a date with Jasmine then. A date that could very well kill me. Women, am I right, Simon? God. I had absolutely no clue where we were going. I was having issues thinking about it due to, well, everything else. The situation was still alien. One thing was for sure. All I had been told was making me feel nauseous. Yet, for all it was, I couldn't sit down. Normally, I would have. I just needed to do something in this familiar yet unfamiliar place. Hello? Ooh. A 3-step ding-dong echoed, signaling the train was leaving the station. When I took off, I reflexively grabbed onto one of the beams for support. Crap. Those things were full of germs. I'm not sure in this case. That was why I usually sat down. I had to wash my hands soon. Man, I don't know how to... I'm not good with French. Procaine station? Security! At least that was familiar. It was the announcer speaking as a lady. Oh, I really nailed that voice then. Speaking as a lady's voice, whose entire job had been to record public service announcements for those who use the metro lines. They were in French, because we're in Montreal, of course. Translated literally, it's just next station with the name of the station. However, the station wasn't named correctly. The messages must have been changed, but why? Did they want to make it clear what we'd find at each station? Or were they worried about copyright? It couldn't be that stupid. Since we had some time, I decided to strike up some conversation with Jasmine. Ooh boy. Are we gonna get to go through all this, or do we just get to pick things? Well, in case I don't get to go through all of it, let's... God. Let's check what year it is. Just making sure. We're still in 20... Oh, hey! Alright! I didn't even know! Starting this game right in 2022, and what year are we in? Hopefully 2022. Of course. What, did you forget that too? Or are you just making sure you didn't leave the stove on for 7 months? No, I remember everything normal, like your name, your occupation, my own name. Just forgot what we're doing here. Just making sure things are still normal, you know? Short-term memory loss, then, I see. It's not really that bad of a case of amnesia, then. But yes, we're in 2022, the year where nothing goes right. No! Is it every year like that anyway, especially the last couple? I thought back to... Wait, when did this come out? when did this come out? Oh, I thought back to 2020 with the large-scale virus outbreak we lived through. It was very recent, but I thought this came out like a year before 2020. Same year, okay, now it must have. Same year also had tons of riots over injustice and racism. And in 2021 was, don't even mention it. I don't know. I think it's looking up now. I'm just joking. At least nothing major happened yet. There was no virus outbreak this year. No good. Or terrorist attacks, or crimes committed by teens. What are we talking about? No school shooting that I can tell, and also, they restocked my favorite limited brand of pizza. Well, hey, things are really looking up, Jasmine. Had to change the subject before we got on the topic of pizza. Because I owe Marco $20 million in pizza money. Train stopped at the station. Seeing as Jasmine wasn't moving to leave, I didn't either. I had to follow her lead, at least until I understood my predicament better. Instead, I took a seat on one of the various colorful benches scattered about. The last thing I wanted to happen was her to think I was useless. I needed to rest to be in shape. It's not how it's worked for me, but alright. But I'd already rested on that couch, no? Unless I was carried there. That's a good question. What happened to me? Hey, what are you thinking about? Well, apparently we don't get to find out right now. I don't know what that's pronounced. Procon Station Laboratoire. The announcer cut her off rather rudely as the train set off again. I don't know. If anything's the matter, you can tell me. We're in this together. She flashed a smile. Yeah, she was dependable to a fault. Okay, alright, so we get something else here. I kind of want to do either my mental health or the current situation. Let's talk about my mental health. So, how are you feeling now that we're in the train? It seems like the whole thing is taking a big toll on you, isn't it? I felt tired, slightly ill, and a headache was creeping up on me. With her trained eye, she could easily see that. Medical professional, then? Okay, nope. It was the eye of an artist, because she was a graphics designer. Can't you tell? Graphic design is my passion. Yeah, wherever we'll be going. Hope you don't mind if I rest there a bit. If there's anywhere to rest in it. A vague memory came back up to me. I'd been in this train with Jasmine and Marco before. Right, I was taking it to go somewhere. To go home? Was it? Thinking about it too much was making my head hurt, but I gave a real effort. Something about going home with the train, and I remembered. Ugh. Okay, no remembering. Pain was too much. My head was telling me no, I couldn't do that. Honestly, wasn't about to argue with it. If you want, I can take care of what we'll have to do there by myself. No, it's okay. I just need to sit down a little, probably. Not for too long, though. I really didn't want to look useless. Not with her. Gotta be a macho man right now. I genuinely wanted her to think well of me, and this whole thing was just one big obstacle to overcome. Before I could do anything else, we arrived at the laboratory. Jasmine shook her head when I rose up to my feet. This one's already done, so we don't need to go here. And the next one, that's the one some of the others chose to go to. Oh, right, you don't know about them. I don't mean Em and Ray. We're 8 here in total. There was something that didn't feel right somehow. So we're 8, we're looking for somebody named 9, or that has the number 9. The amount of people was 8, but it wasn't what was nagging at me. What was nagging at me was the train's trajectory. I still can't say the station name. Infirmary. That's just the word in English. Oh, God. Oh, my one weakness is speaking French. How dare this game do this to me? I had to ask her about it, but first I wanted to catch up with her some more. It was, for all I knew, the only opportunity I might have had to do so in here. Alright, I'm guessing we only get about one more. I think we should talk. We know that she's a graviton. I think we should talk about the current situation. According to the name of the dating game, we're going on a date. Wait, what was I thinking? A date? In here? Okay. Once again, the feeling of nausea overcame me. Why wasn't I happy about that? It must have been because... Yes, it was a date, but considering the colors, the eeriness of the location, and everything else, it didn't feel like one. I was just thinking how all this is so weird. I still can't wrap my head around it. We're not really in the metro, are we? Well, so far it looks like we are. Whoever that Smiley guy is, he seems able to remodel the stations on his own. I can't believe that. Smiley guy? I had to ask her about him. What about that guy, then? Oh, he's kind of the mastermind behind all this, I guess? He looked really weird, like some kind of cultist. Whatever we're in, it's not good. I mentally agreed, but not verbally. How did I even get into this mess anyway? I didn't remember pissing off anybody important. I was just a guy who studied artistic stuff. You know, art stuff. And I delivered the wrong pizza to the wrong person? No, even that didn't make sense. Nobody goes this far over pizza. She mentioned a cultist just now. Had I angered some kind of cult then? The chances of not only me, but also Jasmine and Marco having done it were slim. There was no way it had anything to do with Ray, was there? We don't know anything about him. We can't... He was big and menacing. He had a physique that could let him move heavy objects around. If he was a character in a video game, his special power would be moving heavy things. If someone could have done all this, then that person had to be strong, or they had a lot of help. I brought everything back to my earlier thought, deciding that was enough for now. My available time before the train arrived at our destination was getting shorter and shorter. So, couldn't we just ride the train all the way to the end? No, it's impossible, because the train seems to stop at a station we haven't cleared, and it doesn't move then. In short, when it stops and doesn't go off again, a group of 2 must leave the train. The next one's already taken. After that is ours. It was simple enough. She really knew everything that was going on, huh? I was about to confront her about that, since it might give me an idea for how long this whole thing had been going on, but the train arrived at the station. I expected it to go off again this time, but contrary to what she said, the next station was not our stop. The train didn't move to leave. I had a bad feeling about this. Seeing as this was apparently our destination, that we both left the train momentarily. Huh. Looks like this station is actually free to explore? Is that a problem? Now that I asked, I remember what she said earlier about the others. She took the lead, stepping further ahead of me, closer to the doorframe. Yeah, that's really weird, because the others went here. 2 of them did, an older guy and some really weird girl with a mask and headphones. Hey, anybody here? Jasmine called out the station, but there was no reply. My stomach tightened as a flash of a thought went through my head. Jasmine said someone died already. Could it be... Did the others also? No. No way. Nah, they'd be fine too. For sure. I shook my head to get out of that stupor. Looks like there's no one, so... The train had already gone, and the only way back to cross the rails was to cross the rails to take a train from the other side, but the rails were definitely too dangerous to cross. Giving a glance over there, I noticed it. The indication. 750 volts. That's the voltage going through the rails at all times. If we touched them, we were toast. Not to mention, crossing was dangerous because, well, what if a train was coming? You know, normal stuff. The much safer alternative was to go up the stairs, cross the other side using the station above, and come back down there. I was going to suggest it, but Jasmine had things to tell me. Looks like this is where we're going. I could have sworn the others were here, but the door is open, which means they either solved this place already, or they didn't come here at all. And if they solved this place, the train should have left earlier with us inside it. Which means this is ours to deal with. Do you feel okay now? Yeah, I can handle myself. Okay, good. Upstairs, we're gonna have to solve some stuff. All the places here are kind of like escape rooms. Do you like escape rooms, Josh? Oh, you do? Good. You know what those are, right? Yep. I'll take care of most of it since you're still, you know, a complete moron. Not entirely caught up. But I might need help. Sure. Hey, how do I ask this? There's no time limit or anything, right? Nope. We could take a week and we'd be fine. But we might need to eat and drink. So I guess our time limit is our biological functions. So you know a lot about this place, Joss. I changed the topic for something that had been bothering me. She looked at me with a smile and a wink. Oh, I'm just perceptive, that's all. And besides, it's been a few stations already, so I'm getting the hang of it. Though, you should probably call me Jay here, so people don't figure out our names. I don't know how much Smiley can hear us here, so that's your reason, okay? Alright. Don't want to leave him anything compromising if he just took us at random. Smiley is that, right? As much as I'd like to ask about him, you probably don't know any more than I do, huh? She nodded and walked into the open staircase. I followed along, then when I entered, I stopped there for a bit. There was a good reason for that. The staircase was the same as the lounge, but when I entered, the door had closed behind me. It shut off our way back out. I took a glance over towards Jasmine, but she had already gone up the stairs. Hey, come up too! Yeah, coming. Well, we didn't have a time limit. I couldn't stay down here and be left behind. Once again, the thought that I didn't want to appear useless came over me. That's right. Had to join her in search of this place. With only one way to go forward, I took the stairs. Arriving at the top, I saw what she'd meant much earlier. Alright, and can we save here? I want to make sure this is possible here. This is not a save. What happens if I right click? Well, okay. Oh, it gave me the same one again. Okay, interesting. How about logs? Nope. How do I get out of here? What happens if I hit quit? Oh god, I'm afraid. I'm gonna hit it once and it'll probably tell me, right? Yep, back to menu. Progress to save. Perfect. Alright then, folks. That is gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to find out what escape room we will start our first puzzle in with Jasmine here. And find out more next time. Until then, this has been Downstage Gaming. I have been your host, Josh, and I will catch you all next time.